Loads of stuff that I wanted to kind of involve in this video, so I'm currently trying to arrange it in a way on the table where it doesn't fall everywhere. My kids are watching TV in the other room and my dog is in there, so there might be noise in the background, just to warn you, and also the washing machine's on as usual, so sorry about that. But yeah, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ciaran and today I wanted to make a video talking about some thoughts I've been having on how we're here to be, not to do. And that's just like a thought that kind of came to me whenever I was sitting in the garden having some coffee and writing the other day in the sunshine. And I quite often find when I start writing outside, it's almost like I get these kind of breakthroughs, and it might not necessarily be anything very deep, but it's just like something I need to be reminded of, or like a kind of slight breakthrough in if I'm writing a book or something like that. So yeah, I've got tea today for a change with my little pug tea strainer thing that my sister gave me. My partner got me this cup and I am drinking the Bird and Blend rose and cardamom chai, which my mum got me for Christmas. And we just recently got home from the workshop that I was telling you about, the Valentine's Day one, where we were making cards and like little journals for Valentine's Day. So it was really good. It was like 3 hours long, and we left a little bit before the end because the girls were getting hungry, but yeah, we stayed for a good long time and just got immersed in what we were doing, and I really loved it. And I kind of wished that I could have filmed a bit, but I felt like it sort of felt like a phone-free zone, like in a good way. And I just wanted to really be in the moment and absorb everything that was happening and not be kind of distracted or worrying about like videoing it. So I didn't do that. So I will show you some of the things that we did at it. And yeah, the lady who ran it was like, she was very like encouraging of everyone and like really good at kind of identifying what was like special about each person there and made you feel like really welcome. And she said she would do other workshops in the future, so we'll probably go along to those too if we can. And I felt like it was worth the money spent on it because it was the type of workshop where you come away with ideas that go beyond the workshop, like. And she also sent us home with, she gave us these little like takeaway boxes to fill with supplies of things to take home with us so we can continue making things at home. And then she gave me this box to put it in, which had like a lovely floral print. She said I could even use the box to craft with, so that was really nice of her. So I'll show you what I made while we were there. Kenny, if you're watching, don't look. So I made a Valentine's card for my partner, and the lady provided us with like loads of vintage magazines to cut and tear things out of and use in our crafting, which I loved the idea of. And she said she's really into using original materials. She also made like, you know, I've talked before about making vision boards and dream boards and things like that, and she makes her own like online and then prints them off. So she had brought those with her so we could like pick and choose images from them we wanted to use and cut them out. And then I think this is like that gold leaf stuff. It's like very delicate, and yeah, it's really pretty. My daughter made a card. So she also gave us like dried flowers to use that I think she must have bought them because they came in little like cellophane packs with it like color coded and hearts and things like that. My daughter made this with the gold leaf around the dried flowers. I thought that was really pretty. So that was my Valentine's card for my partner, and then I decided to make 2 more. So which one will I show you? I've got one. I think I'm going to save it for my mum, so I won't show it here because I know she watches my videos. So I did like some stamping on it. I used like a ink stamper. It says memories are made of this, and then I cut this out from a French vintage magazine, which it basically means do you want to read, and then used some dried flowers and little like wooden hearts. And I'm not going to show the inside fully because I haven't decided who I'm giving it to yet, and I don't really know if they will be watching this, so I don't want to wreck the whole thing. But yeah, apart from that, I also made this little journal, and I love this paper, and it's all like jewels. Basically, like, you just make these smaller journals and then you can glue them together to make them longer and then tie them just to kind of make them more secure, and that was what I did. And you can fill it with whatever you want, so I'll probably stick things into this that inspire me, or if I want to include notes and write, then I can just get like another blank piece of paper and cut a bit up and put it in here. So I really enjoyed making those. I actually would go out and get more of this craft paper or something similar just to make my own like little journals with it, and I think they'd make nice presents as well for people. So this is what it looks like before you kind of assemble them and to make a longer one. And then yeah, I'll show you some of the materials that we got. So yeah, I don't know why, I just got really obsessed with making these kind of jewel notebooks, and then my daughter started to make one too. Basically was trying to make a similar one to me. So yeah, and then what else did we do? They had like gift tags, so we got some of those to bring home. She had these lovely like vintage kind of like clear stickers, so I got some of them. And she was very generous about like telling us to bring home anything we wanted to work with. So there's like some gold ribbon and like the tissue paper, felt, and then she had made this and gave it to us, and my daughter actually made me, where is it? Yeah, this chair is being really creaky. I'll find it now. Yeah, so I had it on my, I'll put this back on, cardigan. So yeah, while we were there, my daughter made me this brooch. She did it really quickly. She's really good at sewing, like I think it might be her thing. And then thinking what else, she gave us this double-sided tape, which is really handy, and we also got some of these really cool vintage photographs that she had found somewhere, and I don't think she knew the people personally, but like this one's really cool. It says it's in 1932. I kind of wouldn't want to cut it up. I would just like keep it intact and use it maybe on something special. And then lots of these little wooden hearts, and yeah, there's some dried flowers. But yeah, it was just the kind of like workshop that gives you so much inspiration, and it makes you feel like it kind of reawakens your creativity. So for that alone, I feel like it was worth the money. And I'm just going to stick this in here. Yeah, so I'm going to take my pug out of my tea now before it gets too strong. I love cardamom, like anything cardamom flavoured is just amazing. Sadly, this cup has a chip in it now as well, because everything in our house seems to get a chip on it, because our sink is like, it just really hits dishes. It's like if you gently tap something against it, it shatters. I was reading The Midnight Library and I finished it last night, so I've started to read this book and I love it so far. It's really good. So far, all I know is that it's about people that are leaving Ireland kind of during the famine, and they're on this ship and there's like a ghost on it, and yeah, it says it's set in 1847 and it's setting sail for New York. Basically there's just different interesting characters on it. I haven't got far enough into it to be able to really give a review or anything, but I find it the layout of it interesting, because it kind of goes between like a standard novel, then it has these like images, and then there's like parts that are like kind of newspaper style. So I just thought that was cool. I'll let you know what I thought of it when I'm finished with it. And yeah, so I just wanted to share those things because I'm feeling really inspired by that. And the lady said to us as well, like, we should do our own workshops at home, and I was thinking like, yeah, we should, because we used to do a lot of like arts and crafts together, and I used to order a box that came every month for me and the kids, where it's like a kids art box with different themes each month, and they came with all the materials, so then you just sat down and did the craft together, but we can just go out and get some craft materials and just like do what we like. And I think card making is a really good craft to begin with kids, because my mum used to do that with me and my sister whenever we were younger, and it's good if you have a short attention span and you can just be completely creative and do whatever you want on it. There's no rules, and I like that about it. And yeah, you can just use anything you have lying around the house as well. So I definitely would like to do some more card making with them, or scrapbooking and making more of those little notebooks, but I would need to get some of that paper first because we don't have any card or anything like that at the minute. Like, we actually are pretty low on art supplies for the kids. Like, I have my sketchbooks and I've got paints and some pastels, but other than that we just have printer paper and they're like pens and stuff. Like, I feel like we could do with kind of restocking on a few things, particularly if we're doing card making, because like we don't have any card even or envelopes for it. So yeah, that might be something to plan for. And I feel like at the minute, in a way, I'm kind of like unsure of what direction to go in with my channel, and kind of just feel like making it more open-ended, because I decided to stop my official no buy, and I actually feel like a huge weight has been lifted off me, and I was so appreciative of everybody being like so kind and supportive about it. Like, I was overwhelmed by the response that I got to that video, and the fact that there wasn't one bit of negativity on it. It was just really lovely, and it made me feel a lot better about it, and I didn't feel guilty then about having decided not to do it. And I still can stick with elements of the no buy without calling it that, because it makes it less like big and scary. But yeah, like today, for example, on the way back to the car, we stopped and looked in a charity shop, but we just looked, we didn't buy anything, and I didn't feel tempted to buy anything. So it was more like looking for ideas. And I don't want to fill my house with like loads of stuff, because I just am starting to view it more and more, I say as I bring home a box of craft supplies, like I'm a magpie, as like clutter. And I'm always thinking now, where will this go and will I use it? It's not just like mindless. Like, before I used to buy stuff and that wouldn't even enter my mind. I'd just be like, oh, that's pretty, I'll get that. I didn't think, where will it go, or will it actually be used? So I'm glad that it's made me more aware of that, and that I'm still in the right kind of mindset for saving money. So yeah, I wanted to talk about, because I made some notes on this actually. So this was meant to be the whole point of the video, but I kind of got excited about the whole workshop and decided to share that. So coming back to the whole we are here to be, not to do, I was thinking about how I have always had this feeling like I have to justify my existence, and I don't really know where that stems from exactly. Because yeah, I don't remember like people in my family kind of putting a lot of pressure on us with schoolwork. And like, although my sister and I did well like academically, I don't remember anybody putting a lot of pressure on us like for like studying wise, and we were kind of expected to do our best, but it wasn't like, it's not like it came from a family that were really like driven about you must get this grade. So I don't know where that has come from exactly. And I feel like in uni I kind of like I sailed through it kind of doing the bare minimum a lot of the time, and because French kind of came naturally to me and it was just an interest of mine, it didn't feel like work. And since that, like, part of it is maybe because I finished my degree and then I found out I had like bipolar disorder, and that kind of threw everything off. I dropped out of like a couple of courses because of it after my degree, and I just didn't know what I was doing in life anymore. Then I got married young and had my kids, and that became my focus, and then that fell apart. So it was kind of like, now what? And then I felt like I had to do something, like, so I started writing, and I was doing blogging and writing for magazines and stuff. And then I also was writing books, and I got kind of onto this conveyor belt of like churning out books, and it made me feel like I had to keep going at this rate, but I was like killing myself doing it basically. And then I sort of started painting again, because, well, I've done it on and off like since I was a teenager, because I just love it. But I just have felt, I think, over the years, like I don't really know what my purpose is. Like, it feels like I dip into things, but then I don't like just pick one thing. And maybe you don't have to pick one thing. Maybe you can be creative generally and just like do bits and pieces of things that you find inspiring and that suit different moods. But I think there's like a kind of feeling in our society that, at least in Northern Ireland, I don't know about elsewhere, but where it feels like you, at the time when I was in school, it was like, right, what job do you want? We'll pick your subjects based on what you need to be qualified in to do that. And then it was like, it sort of eliminated everything else and made it feel quite narrow, like, okay, you're studying this subject, therefore you're going to be this. And then if you didn't manage to be that, it was like you'd failed or something. So I think that's part of it. But I was kind of realizing, like, watching the way my dog lives, it sounds silly, but it kind of opens my eyes to like a better way of existing. And I have really struggled over the years with driving myself and pushing myself to achieve, but then feeling like I'm not getting anywhere with it, and then being so mean to myself. And like, even today, like, the lady who did the workshop was like, are you an artist? And I was like, I don't really consider myself to be one, but my kids were like, yes, she is. And I've just always been really hard on myself. But so I was thinking about the way Potato lives and how he just is in the present moment all the time, and he kind of just enjoys his existence. Like, he loves everything he does, like whether it's like finding a stick or sleeping on the sofa. And I know that humans are a bit more complex than that, but it just reminded me of how like that is like a healthier way to live, because it feels like you're actually enjoying your life and living it to the full. And the same with the birds in the garden, like, and you see they're kind of singing and eating and flying around, and there's like a community of them. And it's like, I almost feel like animals have their priorities right more than we do sometimes. So I was like sitting in my garden and thinking, like, if I just sit in the garden and I just read a book, I'm not hurting anybody, like, I'm not doing anything destructive, like, I'm not making the world a worse place. Like, why do I not let myself just do things with no goal in sight at the end that often? And why do I feel guilty about that? I think that the more that you kind of just let yourself be, like, the happier you are, because when you're striving and trying to achieve something or be something like successful all the time, or like your whole focus is on what you do, it's like you feel like you're never enough, and you just exhaust yourself. And I think people who really drive themselves in the business world, they might have financial success, but there's probably other areas of their life that are like suffering because of it, like their relationships or their health or whatever. So yeah, I was thinking about like, what is my purpose in life, because I struggle to find it. And I just think, okay, like, for example, I will do things like set up an Etsy shop and sell my art, and instead of like just thinking, okay, I'm making art, I love art, I'll put it up and see what happens, I'm like, oh, it hasn't sold, or I've only sold like one in like months and nobody likes it. And then it turns into a negative kind of train of thought. So I'm tired of doing that to myself. I want to be able to do things because it feels right, and not because I feel like I have to get somewhere in life with it. And then I was thinking, like, what am I actually good at, where it doesn't feel like a huge effort and I'm not having to try? And I think, like, actually my purpose could be encouraging people, or like inspiring others to kind of like trust themselves and find things in life that bring them joy and make life like really happy for them in a simple way. So I really think I kind of have to drive home for myself like the message that, like, it's not about how much like output comes from me in terms of projects. It's more like I make other people feel, and myself, like, and like, you have to be with yourself a lot in this life and with other people, and you want to make it like a good experience for everyone. And there's no point in driving yourself like you're a machine, because there's no kind of good end to that. And I think a lot of people that are really successful in life in like the kind of conventional way, they arrive at a point where they're like, I can't do this anymore, and they kind of strip everything back and go back to kind of basic simple things that make them happy instead. And I think the more that I force myself to churn like out all this content, and it's like high pressured, and it's not just when I feel like doing it, or like sometimes something will kind of speak to me and I feel like it just arrives when I'm just sitting being myself, that's when the good ideas come and stuff, and I will just do it in a natural way. It's not forced. But when I force it, I feel like I'm kind of churning out like mediocrity, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't think we're happy when we're at war with ourselves. Like, nothing good comes from like kind of over productivity. And I just want this year, actually, I thought it was about not spending money, and maybe in a way it is, but I think the actual focus of this year is about like learning how to just be and stop like pushing myself to try to be good enough all the time, like, and just allow yourself to be like as you are naturally. And yeah, I think it's more about that, and then you can, the activities that come from that and the other like benefits, like they kind of come as like a footnote to that. It's not just like it was the same with the no buy. I think I was driving myself with it and it was making me miserable, and it became like a whole, basically it became work. And yeah, I think like whenever you just kind of sit back and let things happen to you and come to you, it just makes for a much more pleasant existence. So those are my thoughts for today. I don't know, maybe they're just really random and like rambly, but yeah, I'm just watching a bird outside the window eating some of the seeds. And I just want this year to be about like kind of rediscovering what's really important and what makes you actually happy, and removing a lot of the noise and the clutter and just the commercial stuff that takes over and kind of crowds your mind so you can't think straight. I hope that this video is like inspiring to someone, even though it's really random. And yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks to any subscribers for sticking around. And yeah, I will make another video soon. Bye.